I'm sure all of you have heard of the NFL or the National Football League. I'm here to tell you about one of the 32 teams, and personally my favorite, the Kansas City Chiefs. Today I will talk to you about the history of the Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium, and notable Chiefs players. History of the Chiefs, information from ProFootballHallOfFame.com. They were originally known as the Dallas Texans, who were founded by Lamar Hunt, a 26-year-old Texan. He also founded the AFL, and when the league expanded with 8 new teams in the AFL, one of them was the Dallas Cowboys, and he thought for the better of the league to move his team to Kansas City, Missouri, where they continued their success. I forgot to mention they had success as the Dallas Texans, and they won their third AFL championship in their third season. And when they switched to the Chiefs, they were the first team from the AFL to represent in the Super Bowl, and they faced the Green Bay Packers and would end up losing. But 3 years later, they would go back to the Super Bowl where they would end up beating the Minnesota Vikings. And for the second point, information from ESPN.com. Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas City was their original stadium was Municipal Stadium, and then in 1972 they switched over to Arrowhead. And in 2010, they had a $375 renovation to keep their stadium as one of the best. And their stadium is directly across the street from the Kansas City Royal Stadium, Kauffman Stadium. Also, Arrowhead in 2013 would break the NFL record for loudest stadium in the world. But in that same year, it was broken by the Seahawks. And in 2014, they would later reclaim the title with 142.2 decibels. My third point, notable players, information from BleacherReport.com. The first player I have is Dante Hall, who is also known as the X Factor. In his 7 seasons, he had a franchise best 12,550 all-purpose yards and 11 return touchdowns. And for my next player, I have Trent Green. He was a starting QB for the Chiefs for 6 years. Green had 21,500 yards, which is a second most in team history. His best season in his career would also be one of the best seasons from a franchise QB, as he threw over 4,500 yards and over 360 completions. My next player is Priest Holmes, who would be one of the most known free agents. When he came to Kansas City, he played there for 6 seasons, and he would become the franchise leader in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. My next player I have is Tony Gonzalez, who is personally my favorite Chief. And in his 12 seasons with the Chiefs, he broke the Chiefs' franchise record in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. And also a few other my favorite players from the Chiefs are Jamal Charles, Eric Berry, and Justin Houston, which they all currently play for the Chiefs except Jamal Charles, sadly. And to recap what I talked to you today, I told you about the history of the Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium, and notable Chiefs players. That's it.